Welcome to Yerba Talks.
Welcome to the Aftershow. I am Max. This is Kat, and he's bitey, but not that much today. All right. We have a discussion on vaccines. It was interesting. I know that a lot of you were a little bit triggered, and I understand. I do understand, but I think it was a good discussion. I think that shunning people with these kinds of beliefs is how you let them fester, and that's how you get some of these problems where the misinformation, basically multiplying itself. But I'll give you a link. Before we do that, make sure to do the social things like, share, subscribe, send this to a friend, send this to your significant other, go to the corner, yes, the corner of your street, and you subscribe to Share Mate Talks. And that way we can share the love for the channel. All right. Let me get you peeps the link. There we go. And I'll pin it to the top of the side chat. So if you want to join, you're more than welcome. Oh, I didn't swap the accounts. 1 second. There we go. Hello, Jeff. I see Douglas Jenkins, Kiwi Push, Catherine, and Proby. Hello, all, if I missed anyone. But get yourselves comfortable, and we'll see what we can make out of this. Pin message. Perfect. All right. Feel free to start joining whenever you want. I honestly thought that I could that I would convince him on the chat. I realized that it wasn't going to happen when the direct connection of injecting someone with the pus of a disease that generates pustules with pus that have the bacteria in them. I think that would be a more clear. I don't know what more evidence one could actually pose in order to confirm, because that is the most clear direct connection that there could have, that there could be, right? So I don't know, maybe we can crowdsource some other way to present that evidence that makes it more incontrovertible. The problem is that there are some limitations, like you cannot use a microscope on someone's body, like on the inside. So we're limited on that. And we can see the infection on a petri dish, on a microscope sample, but I don't think that would still be enough to dispel that idea from him. It's a tricky one, but I think I'm up for the challenge. I understand your frustration. For example, Jeff says, I have no patience for people who spread medical misinformation. And I understand. I get it. I totally get it. But I am more and more convinced that what Dr. J usually says is correct. That it, being aggressive or being, just shutting them because like, oh, you're this or you're that. I don't think that is conducive to improving the situation. And of course, if you let it fester, then you just basically get flat Earth. So yeah, it's a tricky one to solve. Uh, I do like the conversation, however. I kind of like the chemistry part of all of it. Uh, Let me check. Is he here? Because I wasn't really paying attention to the chat at all. But I saw a couple of times Basil just being Basil. Like seriously, Basil, right now, because you told me that I was wrong and you immediately backed away from your own challenge. I lost pretty much all respect for you, and now all you're doing is like trying to mock me, and it has no effect. No, it has no effect. I don't really care. Um, Quickie says you can't convince people that are convinced, but you can. I think it's just trying to find out what will sway them the most. I think that is the case. Identifying what it is that will make them change their mind. Um, I like this point. Kiwi Bush says alternative health is a $300 billion industry. They don't have money for a scientific study. That's a great point. I did try to take it away from the whole financial situation by going that far back when all of those things are less prevalent. Because, like, the guy that discovered viruses, he was trying to get tobacco plants not to die. There was a financial component, but it's nothing compared to the same financial conflicts that you might have today, right? Uh, but I'm quite proud of the presentation. Needs a little bit more refining. And someone, come on, click that link. Come on, come talk to me. I don't want to do an after show alone. That's boring as hell. Some of you did have I think it was Who Done It. That the language kind of denotes a little bit of the position. It's mostly, I think, I believe, but the causal chains are actually there. I mean, we do know that germs cause disease. Oh shoot! Oh look! Uh, there we go. Hello.
Hey,
How are you doing?
doing all right. Been busy at work. I missed my Thursday stream. I'm hoping to be able to do it this Thursday. So
Okay. I did. I noticed that. I was going to ask you, but I knew you were kind
I
of
I, I,
busy
sh- I should have put a post about it or something. I didn't. I
or
didn't.
something. Yeah.
Yeah,
But anyway, being busy is good.
that's right.
Great to have you here with us. Where are you watching?
I didn't see most much of it, so I'm sorry. We need some other people to give some analysis. I'm interested to hear what you say about it, and I'll chime in when I can. But I'm not going to be able to provide as much analysis as I would like to because I didn't catch it all.
Okay. Yeah, it wasn't, a full-on debate. It was more of a discussion. And even though I did create a presentation and brought something, it wasn't much. There wasn't much evidence that we were discussing. I was trying to, establish a case, because with Nico, we have to work from the foundation that in order to even start talking about vaccines, first he needs to be convinced that our germ theory of disease is actually correct, because he doesn't believe that. And that is, the baseline from where we have to start the discussion, because he doesn't think that pathogens do disease, right?
So
So
this guy doesn't think so either.
exactly,
Or-
yeah.
Oh well, boy, that's gonna be that's like a whole different debate or something. I don't
Yeah,
know. That's tough.
that is rough. It is rough, because a lot of these things you need a minimum lab equipment to do it. For example, you could do a homemade culture of E. coli, but I mean, it's hard. It's hard, and
Right.
you could potentially, infect yourself or your family. It is not accessible to everyone, and you would, I don't know, at the very least, need a microscope.
Yeah. And this guy's evidence was or why he thinks this way is he looked at a microscope one time, or he watched some YouTube videos, or what was his suggestion on why he thought it was incorrect?
No, he cited this guy Stefan Lanka, who apparently is um, a doctor in biology, microbiology. That I found some papers about him doing virus, but then he actually changed his mind on the topic.
Oh, gotcha. That reminds me, I one time had a big discussion with someone on whether Obama was born in America or not.
Uh huh.
And one of the evidences that they sent me, I looked up, there's a YouTube video. At the beginning of the YouTube video, it said, "Hey, I don't believe this anymore. I was wrong about this. You can see this happening." Da, da, da. They gave us a big explanation of why he didn't believe it anymore. And yep, still got sent to me as evidence. So
Right. All right. Welcome, Bruce. Hello.
So,
How you doing? Did you watch the discussion?
up until you had to get up and go to the bathroom, then
Okay.
I started watching Mike over IP.
Uh huh.
He's playing some video game.
All right. What did you think up to that point then?
I thought, man, this guy really just all he's saying is not, and he's not showing like any evidence to support what he says, and I didn't see like any irony in how he was calling like, flat earthers like, illogical and saying they're basically in a cult and they're not interested in evidence, and he was just denying any evidence you gave. So maybe, but maybe it was this and maybe it was that.
Mm-hmm. Let me address Basil. What is the value of these discussions? I just like the discussions, right? I enjoy the discussions, and then there's value to me in that I had to prepare for this. I had to watch a bunch of stuff and gather some materials, think how I would build my case, and exercise my intellectual muscles. Those are, I mean, that to me is the benefit. And then for you guys, it's just, edutainment.
So some of the things like It just frustrates me when I hear people say they are against vaccines because of stuff like they don't want their kid to be autistic or something, or just blaming every neurological condition on vaccines. It's just really an insult because my wife's son and I have epilepsy, and my son is autistic, and I just think it's a slap in the face to people who actually do have autism, and people who do want an answer to what causes autism, and if you're just making up unsubstantiated claims, it's just it's a threat to public health.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the biggest problem, Lo. And also, I know, shining a little bit of a spotlight on some of the problems of what these positions are. Ben said, "You think you're targeting his channel, though? I think he said he had 2 viewers. I don't care. I just because he has a channel, I just thought that it's a common courtesy to, if you're going to have a discussion, then you can stream to your channel, and if he had an audience, maybe get some questions. That's also, that's there is some value in that. But
Yeah, I think there's, I would argue there's a little bit of value as far as like at least for me, I would be willing to talk to people just like why they think this way, how to, I'm interested in changing people's minds. So I would be kind of, interested in kind of cutting my teeth at, interacting with people. Sounds like this was a cordial thing, not an aggressive debate. So I think I would enjoy that.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm being more and more convinced of what you said, Dr. J, what you always say, that when you push against someone hard, they just retreat into their position, and they just dig in deeper, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's called the backfire effect, and when you give evidence against someone else's opinion, it is more likely to reinforce it than um, to convince them. You can't just convince them with one discussion. They have to. It's kind of like making an alcoholic go to get help. It's not going to do anything unless they make the decision themselves.
Right. You'll get big views in 6 months. Oh my god, dude! You seem to think that all we do here is for the views and for the money. Like, how many times do I have to fucking tell you that we don't care? We don't care. You seem to think that everything revolves around money and views and that stuff. I just enjoy doing this. The money is a great thing, but it's not the main purpose.
YouTube isn't going to pay you that much unless you're like one of the big YouTubers with like millions of subscribers, and even those ones, they're not making money from YouTube ads. They're making money from the other sources.
Well, I mean, it starts adding up when you have thousands of views on videos. It starts adding up, but he doesn't understand that it's not the point. Like that, yeah, it's a great thing, but it's not the point. I appreciate the discussions. I appreciate talking to some people, and for the most part, it was civil. It didn't get heated. It was.
I think it's always good to have like discussions if you can keep things civil instead of just like starting to call each other names. And
Right? Or, for example, if you look at the latest big debate that happened on the Punk Burn channel between two anti-vaxxers, and also it had Professor Dave and another guy for the pro-vaccine position. It was a mess of interruptions. It was a mess of jabs throwing like left and right. It was bad as far as the discussion itself. There was some interesting things said, but I don't know. The form is a little bit off-putting.
Yeah. And just to like talk about YouTubing in general, at least for me, I would have to have my own channel and a lot of viewers to make more money than it would be better for me just to work more hours at my job, right? Like a lot. So it's like, what makes you keep doing it? It's you do it for fun, right? Otherwise, you quit doing it, right? Like if it's not fun, you'll quit doing it. So the kind of content that I do, and I think mostly what Max does, is things that we enjoy, that's for fun, that we like, or we'll quit doing it, right? Like I don't know if I could just do content I was completely uninterested in, you know,
No.
often. I just don't think I would, keep it up.
I would last two shows if I was, for example, forced to do something that I don't like. I would last two shows and I would just like, yeah, no, fuck that. There's no way. Like when Voldemort was coming back and he was trying to take the reins of the stuff and trying to tell me what to do, like I didn't even reply. It's like, dude, no, I do whatever I want, whatever I want, and it's that or nothing. There is no negotiating. There's no middle road. There's no like I do what I have fun with, and that's it. There, what else? Because this is my hobby outside of work, right? So if I'm not having fun, then that's the day that I'm not having fun anymore. That's the day that I'm so gone.
And what's the point of having a hobby if you're not going to have fun with it?
Right? Wasn't Punkburn a scammer? I have no idea what you're talking about, but this is the link to that. It is quite hard to watch. It is quite hard to watch from both sides. Both sides were just horrible when it came to interruptions and this and that. But there are some interesting things pointed out there. Mostly the money thing. The anti-vax side accuses the vaccine side of doing everything for profit, and the vaccine side correctly pointed out, like, you guys sell supplements and books and this and that, so the financial component is there from whichever side you look at it. Like, it's unavoidable in today's world completely.
Yeah, there were a few times where like they would reference a paper and clearly only one side had read it or understood it,
Yeah.
Like as soon as one side has to start explaining to the other side stuff they don't understand, I just don't know how you recover from that. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like, no, if your debater has to explain now, if the debater takes you in a completely different direction of something unimportant, but these were like papers that they had shared with each other beforehand.
Yeah.
This was not like I threw a paper out of the blue. You clearly wouldn't know what it was. It was something they had access to beforehand. You should know what's in those papers, like upside down, backwards and forwards. And so I thought that was telling.
Yeah, it is. And the same thing sort of happened now. Nico was latching on to this experiment that they couldn't get the Spanish flu to be contracted by other people. But I mean, you have to look at the methodology of the study. You have to look at what they were doing, etc., etc. So it's way more than, like, for the sake of discussion, I can take it as face value. But then it's a lot to grant, right? So I don't know. I would have to look at that specific thing. But when it came to the evidence, what I was baffled by was the fact that the first vaccine was a direct infection, and it was taking pus from a cow, injecting it, like putting it into a kid. The kid developed the cowpox, and I don't know how else to present that. Like, yeah, dude, that is a direct infection. What else could it be? And even the analogy of, like, okay, if you poke yourself with a needle, you get the wound, but nothing happens. If you poke yourself with a needle with pus from a cowpox, you get the cowpox. How is that? You don't get any more direct than that. That is not like correlation. That is actual causation. Right? So I don't know how else one would approach something like that when the direct demonstration of the thing that is happening is not good enough.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
So tell me more about your debate though. So he quoted a guy who had a paper that the own guy didn't agree with anymore. What did a lot of conspiracy talk start happening as far as like
No, not that much. The
there's a
guy.
global cabal of somebody
Mm,
somebody
no,
they
that came up. That came up a little bit on the side of on the financial side, like the incentive for the pharmaceutical companies to produce vaccine is to make money.
Mhm. Is the so it's yeah. That if you get to get away with that completely, if that's your own evidence,
Mhm.
everybody's bad, right? Like I don't know how. Like, what's the incentive of car companies to sell you cars?
The incentive of any business is to make money. So
Yeah.
And I brought up the cases where something we take for granted as cars, because he told me like, oh
yeah,
yeah, pharmaceutical
Volkswagen,
companies have been fined for doing shady stuff. It's like, yeah, so have car manufacturers, and so has pretty much everyone, because it's a part of it's inherent to the system to try and spend the least money to make the most money. So it's something that is inherently built into the system,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. That's why capitalism without controls is a bad deal, right? Like that's how it is. Um, but you just have to provide evidence that the lack of controls has caused a problem. So you can't just say, well, there's inherent, you know, into the system that people want to make money and they might lie to make money. I mean, that's like, yeah, we know. You got anything valuable to provide?
Mm-hmm.
the issue with a lot of
Go ahead.
scientists, like especially like biomedical sciences, is that the privately funded studies are generally manipulated more, but it's not the scientists who are lying, it's the executives who are manipulating the studies. They will do a variety of things, like pick and choose which studies get published. They will extend the studies or cut them short if the outcomes are looking positive, and just do all kinds of things just to make things look a lot better than they actually are.
Yeah, I mean, like when the NFL pays to have the study done on the concussions, like I think we can be suspicious. But if you want to show they're cheating, you at some point still need evidence, right? Like
Yeah.
Yeah,
um you, you need real evidence.
but
Academic
the thing is that
research, that's not really as manipulated as much, but a lot of people are less attracted to the academic, working in academia, because the scientists who are privately funded are they have these big houses, go to have their kids go to private schools, and the ones who are government funded, they don't make nearly as much.
Yeah,
sure,
so
but studies are
There
also
is
conducted
a
by
little bit of a financial incentive even for scientists, but scientists aren't generally not doing it for the money. There's
right.
always corrupt people in every field. So.
Sure. But there are studies that are conducted by students in universities under the guidance of teachers that have zero financial incentive other than actually get the science done. And that's why I try to go that far back to the beginnings of inoculations and to the beginnings of us starting to understand the immune system and pathogens, because all of that gets kind of past the hyper capitalistic system that we have today, right? So but it didn't really work because that also came up.
So that guy, he seems like one of those guys who isn't really interested in evidence. He'll say he is, but just like the flat earthers, he's not. He just
No, I think it's the opposite. I think he can be swayed by evidence. After all,
I'm not sure if he just quite understands how science works, and that might just be why he's not convinced. He just doesn't understand what he's reading.
What got him out of flat Earth? Did you talk about that?
We talked about flat Earth on when we did the interview.
Oh, yeah, that's that same guy. That's right.
Yeah, and he's the one that we're trying to set up for you to talk about climate change. Yeah.
Do I need to wait another week or so since you just discussed with him?
I would say so. Yeah.
And
but I would also tell you, bring all the evidence you can get, because it's a tough one.
Climate. The problem with debating climate, which I'm not sure I'm going to frame it as debate, is there's really more evidence than I can possibly know. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like the amount of different information. You just like, well, I think this model was bad, and I'm like, it's like, oh crap, do I have to like learn what that model was? You know what I mean? Like it's just infinite. So I might have it has to be a relatively nice thing because I just am not really even qualified to have let me debunk everything everybody's made up about climate change. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't think I have the chops to be able to pull that off.
No, that is fair, but you see that like at the very least, he's a good interlocutor. He's not interrupted. The conversation just flows. So at the very least, we have that, and then I don't know, working from there. But I would gather some evidence, because the na is strong with this one.
Yeah.
But I think he can be convinced. Like Bruce was saying, he got out of flat Earth. So
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he can be convinced.
Yeah, I think it would just require a little bit of an effort, but I think it can be done. What does Basil says? Most research is done by graduate students founded by NIH or NSF. And do you have like a citation? Because I don't know. Pharmaceutical companies invest a lot of money in research.
There's also, well, at least in the U.S., they spend twice as much on advertising as they do on research.
Yeah, but that doesn't change. It doesn't matter what they spend on advertising. It doesn't change.
That tells you a lot about the U.S.
Spend a lot of money on research. What happens mostly? What happens mostly is that students, since they don't have the financial incentive, like I don't remember who said it, but someone talked about there was a PhD researcher studying some sea slug, and they found that it produced a compound. And later, years down the line, that compound was used to create a new type of medicine, right? So there is this weird interaction that pharmaceutical companies are literally researching stuff that they can make money off of. And then you also have the other portion, the graduates and undergraduates, that are just studying stuff, like random stuff that they're interested in, which later down the line produces unexpected technologies and results. Right?
Yeah, a lot of times it's government, what in universities or whatever that do base level research, because you don't know what you're going to find, and you may not find anything interesting or valuable at all. I think
Yeah.
the Ozempic drugs or whatever came from a lizard, and I don't think that was because a pharmaceutical company said, "Hey, let's go study lizards." I don't. That's probably not how it
Right?
happened.
It's like, oh, we'll take this. No, it's just you have someone like you have a a reptile nerd that studies a lizard, and they find, oh, they have this compound or this thing. It's like, oh, what does it do? Let's study it, and then you get derivative research down the line.
Hmm.
But
I
you cannot
oh, sorry.
afford to just study random lizards if your only incentive is the money. Sorry.
And I would say we are probably not super experts on this necessarily.
Of course.
My PhD is not in science, so I don't know how it works super well. And my understanding when I hear spirit scientists talk is it does sound like the peer review process is incredibly important, because
Yes.
even if you as a student didn't sell the product, if you were able to lie in your papers and just become famous and write a book off of it or something, that would be bad. So there are reasons to be do bad things or lie, even if you wouldn't get paid for it. So I think the peer review thing is like super important, is my understanding. But once again, not really an expert on the process.
Yep. Oh, Basil, you're adorable. Have you been in grad school? Are you familiar with the PhD research infrastructure in the US? Nope. Nope and nope. You ask a lot of personal questions. What's your education level? Because you're starting to piss me off with the judgment. And now, let me just tell it to you like it is. You're judging me without sending money, so that is just boring. Thank you for acknowledging, though. I think like he's an expert in. No, fuckface. I told you, you fucking filthy lying moron. I told you, I'm an expert in two things: the English language and music. But you seem to have some kind of judgmental retardation that you cannot acknowledge what I tell you. I need to explain shit to you 10 times. So now, give me your education level, because you're starting like to actually piss me off. What a moron. That is annoying as hell. It was an interesting like, because we started deep in the weeds of me trying to prove germ theory, and I thought that example was a very clear uh, example. I'm sorry for the redundancy there. That was a very clear example on how contagions work, right? Do you think that there's any better way that I could prove that? Because, like, for example, his objection was that, like, oh, that happens outside of the body, and for example, for the electron microscope preparations, that it's not as easy as just cutting a slice and put it in under the microscope. I huh, I
I
can't think of any better way, really.
I'm just not. This is so far out of anything I know a lot about. So
Mm.
I'm sure it's been fun for you to research it, but
Record yourself on
Oh, love
camera.
it.
I
Yeah,
haven't.
take a big sample of the whatever pathogen it may be, infect yourself, and just record everything live and showing what happens.
I mean, I did tell him something along those lines when we're talking about how you can probably grow E. coli yourself in your house.
Well, you grow it in your colon. E. coli, that bacterium, lives inside your colon. It's only a threat when it's in places it doesn't belong.
Yeah, but you can probably grow a culture of E. coli.
No, I'm sure you can.
So that is accessible, or there's other more common
Just go in your bathroom
bacteria
and
that you can.
you could easily culture it.
Yeah, you can. There's more kinds of. You can grow some fungi and some other stuff.
Did you guys broach the question of what any kind of experiment he could think of that you could both do where you would predict different results?
We kind of talked about it, but I didn't go specifically into that question. That is a great question, and I forgot. Like, okay, how could we prove? How would you expect to be proven that contagions exist? Because a lot of it was like the deflections, uh, which I didn't understand. Like, for example, with the when I told him about the pus from the cow being injected into a kid and the kid developing symptoms, he was like, "Oh, but it could be something else." And I did ask, like, what? And I didn't get an answer for that. So I don't know. That would have been a great question to ask. That's my bad. Bad, Max. Bad.
Oh, it's hard. Even if you had asked it, it might have been hard to stick to it as far as, if he doesn't want to talk about it, sometimes there's not much you
No,
can do
yeah,
about
no,
it.
but he didn't seem to have any problem talking about anything.
He seemed like a pretty reasonable guy for the most part. Just some of the stuff he was saying just got annoying, but overall, like he seemed like he wouldn't be a hard person to have a civil conversation with.
No, that's the conversational aspect. That's great. I just I'm trying to picture a way where we could like definitively show, okay, this contagion. The problem is that the ones that would be like extremely clear that would kill a mouse, those aren't easy to get. The one that you can get, I don't know, it's maybe you can give someone vomit or diarrhea. I think it needs to be something more impactful, but now it becomes like, okay, how do you even get access to a pathogen like that? That's not like something. And then let's say if you hypothetically are able to get it, how do you keep yourself safe? Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess of thing to prove. I think the best thing would be for him to, but that is not even much of an argument. It's like, okay, you should go to school and study microbiology or biochemistry or something related to this field so that you can actually experience this yourself. Right? But I mean, that's what kind of an argument is that?
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yep.
a pretty big investment in the U.S.
Yeah, I know. For me, I'm used to education being free. Kiwi Bush says, Dr. J, he denies that virus is the cause of disease, never been shown, etc. Yeah, and I even tried to talk about the discovery of viruses and how we realize that they're smaller than bacteria. I did show him electron microscope images of viruses, which I thought that would be enough. Like if you tell me, sorry, if you tell me I don't think this thing exists, and then you show me the thing, right? Then for a reasonable person, that would be enough.
Yeah.
But and he didn't have any of the like regular objections, like, oh, that's fake, yada yada.
It would be super interesting to see if you guys could think of a something you'd both agree on. That's actually going to be, I think, when I discuss climate change, I can't think of anything he and I could both do because
What's your
it's so.
PhD in?
My PhD,
Yeah.
theology. I have a PhD in theology with a emphasis on biblical studies. Um, because climate change is such like a big thing. It's not like I can do a bunch of experiments myself. You know what I mean? At some point, you have to trust somebody. Just deciding who you trust, I guess.
Yes, and it's not like you can build a microcosm. This is like observational science. It's not experimental science for the most part. I do know someone who actually has a PhD and studies climate, so I can put you in contact with them. So if you want to prepare, Dr. J,
Sure. Yeah, I could talk to him. I mean,
Nico is here. Is that I'm secretly here? Is that allowed? Of course. Yeah.
No, it is not allowed. You must make yourself public.
Dr. J, speak for a moment. I'll be right back.
yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm really interested to see how it's going to go as far as climate. I've talked to people regarding climate in sort of a kind of an adversarial way, but not formally, right? And it was kind of with friends, and so you don't, it's just not even worth fighting too long. So I'm just not really sure what direction to go as far as saying, how should we think about this in order to, find the right answer. So anyway, it'll be interesting when the time comes. What's your background, Bruce? Is Mr. Bruce Wayne as far as climate stuff? Care a lot about it? Don't care? What do you
I
think?
care a lot about it. I work in the energy industry, working in I have an associate in mechanical drafting and design, and I design machines that burn waste products and convert it to energy. It doesn't have a carbon footprint. It's how do I explain it?
Yeah, I'm not totally following.
All right, I'm back.
Basically, I design machines that burn waste product and convert it to heat up oil, circulate it, and making it produce steam, and then turning a turbine, and that converts to energy.
So that something heats oil. Is that right? Or doesn't heat the oil?
I don't know how to describe
Okay,
what
that's all right.
I'm not the engineer.
Well, what part of it do you do? Are you like a support staff in some way, or?
Just the technical drawings and 3D models.
I see. Yeah.
That's cool.
Basically, burn waste products and convert it to energy.
I saw there was sort of a conspiracy that a guy built one of those, basically a process to decompose plastic and turn it sort of like roll it back and turn it back into oil. And then the conspiracy is that he created the machine, made a YouTube video, and then he disappeared. And I haven't checked back on that, but it was kind of interesting. Like, ooh.
I don't think you can turn plastics back into oil.
This guy, the machine apparently did it. I don't remember what the name. I'll try to find it again, but maybe I'm not describing it in the best way possible. But that's what I understood from just watching it.
The oil has had a ton of stuff done to it by the time it's turned into plastic, right? Like it's not so it wouldn't ever be oil again, right? It would have to be something else.
No, but not oil, but something combustible. What he was doing, it was kind of breaking down the plastic and making fuel from it. So basically,
that can be done.
Yeah.
I don't
You
remember.
can just burn plastic straight up if you want to. I mean, you can, plastic's flammable, right?
Again, I think it's Indonesia. I think Sweden. There are some places that will just take their trash and burn it and use it for energy.
No, this is called The process of converting plastic back into fuel is called pyrolysis. So this
Yeah.
was a machine that did that and a bunch of other stuff to get somewhat, you know, cleaner fuel because you're basically recycling stuff.
Oh,
So
pyrolysis.
yeah.
I've heard of that before. I don't think that's news. So it must be like a special way
That's
of
not
doing it.
something. Yeah, that's not a new thing.
No, I know it's not a new thing, but it was a pyrolysis and a couple of other stuff that he did. But and it was a funny thing. Nico says, in terms of climate change, first of all, my debate is that there is no reason to fear catastrophic climate change. I'm not sure what the position is on your end, Dr. J.
No reason to fear it. I mean, if you just don't mind people dying, I mean, I guess it's fine. You know. So I don't know. We mean don't need to fear it because God's gonna save us all and we're not gonna die because He's gonna keep us from dying. I'm not really sure. I don't know why you wouldn't be at least concerned about it.
Mm-hmm. That is
No, there's
that is a good
plenty of other
question.
things to be concerned about with climate change.
There's tons of things. I mean, if you just have mass immigration, right, forced immigration because of poverty, you're going to have it's not even just the people starving to death. They're going to go to where the food is, and then the country that has the food isn't going to want them to come in, and it's going to be political absolute mayhem. So the migration of people, if we have huge problems somewhere, it might be like, it's going to cascade. It's not like, oh well, Zambia or whatever had a they couldn't grow food this year, so they died. Too bad for them. They're not just going to sit there and die, right? They'll do whatever they got. They're going to feed their, they want to feed their kids and all that. So it's kind of hard to know how incredibly horrible it could all be, depending on how much starvation happens.
Mm-hmm. And the biggest problem would be to have such a catastrophic effect that it would destroy every single ecosystem at the same time without having, evolution enough time for evolution to catch up to the new demands.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
I guess I'm not saying that humanity is going to cease to exist or anything. I don't think I'm going to argue that, but it just would be a lot of people die, or in a lot of people, a lot of problems.
yeah, but how would we go about that? I think that it's because of the loss of agriculture, of actual land. For example, if sea levels rise, losing land, losing agriculture
The
and wildlife, right?
the agriculture is the whole main problem, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
it has nothing to do with I'm cold, I'm warm, I'm hotter in the summer or something
No.
like that, right? Like that's not the point of it. It's when things change and the agriculture change, it will be really, really hard to change how we do things. The richer countries might be able to adjust what farm products they grow a little quicker and easier than the poor countries. But it unfortunately it doesn't matter because all the poor countries are going to invade or they're going to migrate to the rich countries when they don't have any food, and so I think food is the absolute main huge problem. Lots of
Yeah.
societal collapse have happened because for one reason or another they didn't get food.
Yeah.
If you just have a major drought, even in biblical times, right? The drought stuff's like a huge deal. If you read ancient literature, is my understanding, droughts are bad, or
Yeah.
whatever other environmental reason you don't get food anymore.
Yeah. 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 I think that. Oh, that's a great point. Hold on. Where is the comment? Here. Kiwi Wush says, acid rain. Remember how we as humans resolved that? I remember that I was a kid. I went to a private school, and they used to take us every year to like a sort of science contest for kids, and we were usually up against the kids from the military schools and some other private schools that they were doing experiments with mice and the acid rain, right? That was quite interesting. And then we we apparently solved the problem, because I haven't heard of acid rain in years since I was a kid.
Yeah, we have. I forget the details, but I think the answer is pretty much the answer is yes. That's my understanding. Someone's
Yeah, we stopped what was causing the acid rain, and stopped.
I think we put filters on certain like smokestacks or whatever. We filtered out
Yep.
certain types of things, if my memory serves correct.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and stopping the use of CFC, chlorofluorocarbons, in aerosols.
Yep.
Okay, here we have another definitional problem. Sure, but that's not the climate changing. That's chemicals being sprayed. Obviously, an important distinction, and we'll have different solutions. But it includes, like, if we are putting factories are putting out massive amounts of pollutants into the atmosphere, that is definitionally man-made climate change. If you get acid rain and then you stop that, or you filter that and now you don't get it anymore, that would be a direct cause.
The
Yeah,
definition
and
of climate change is a change in prevailing weather patterns, and it doesn't really matter what's going into the atmosphere. If it's just chemicals being sprayed into the atmosphere, or if it's just changes in the Earth's orbits, or whatever. Climate change is climate change. Like,
Oh, he was specifically referring to the insect decline. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, that is.
that is a problem
Sometimes
too.
there are multiple causes to things, and I think we ran into this problem when we were talking that specifically with polio. Yeah, polio had a reduction when we had better sanitation, and then another reduction with the vaccines. So there are usually multiple ways to tackle a problem, right? And usually multiple causes that are comorbid with something else, right? There's a thing that has two things that affects them. In this case, polio, sanitation, and then we develop vaccines, and that improves the whole situation. But if you remove one of those, you still get polio. If you have sanitation but no vaccines, people still get polio. If you have vaccines but not sanitation, people would still probably get polio. But it's an interesting mechanic. The mechanic of convincing and presenting a case, that is fascinating to me.
Yep.
Yeah,
I was thinking about Max, just to prime the pump on Thursdays, as long as work doesn't come up and bite me again. Of going over the points of the peace, peace suggestion. What do you call it? The Israel-Palestine peace
treaty
20-point
agreement
plan.
or proposal.
Yeah, proposal. There you go. The proposal. And going over those points, and maybe I could get someone excited to come convince me of some stuff. Have you looked at that closely yet?
No, I don't. I don't really care too much about that.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting to get to know.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm already interested. Basil, you're on such thin ice. Such thin ice. Like, calm your tits. I'm trying to think what else we cover that might be worth talking about.
I better jump here in a few minutes, Max. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm thinking about wrapping up, because we're.
What did Basil do?
He's being basically a little bitch, because he likes to interrogate me. But I asked him one question and he refused to answer. And then the other day he was saying how my argument against Witsit was incorrect. But then I told him like, hey, click the link. Like,
Border
hey, click the.
peace. I'm sorry, Max. I got
No, it's okay.
distracted. I interrupted you.
No problem.
Talk,
I
talk.
told him like, hey, come tell me why I'm wrong. Because I tend to explain to this guy things like 5, 10 times, and he keeps on going back to the same things. And now he seems to think that my education level is somehow a problem. But I asked him like, what is your education level? And he didn't answer. So yeah, that I don't have much of a tolerance for that. All righty. What is today's Monday? Don't know if we're doing anything tomorrow. The next debate on MDD is on October 10th, I think, if they haven't changed. Oh, no, there's another one on the 8th. So that would be Wednesday. Is the left more violent than the right? Oh, I was supposed to take that one.
Who do they have?
Oh.
Who do they have doing it?
Brent and Jake, the Australian. But I thought James had talked to me about that one. I'm sad, but I guess that would be interesting to see how they tackle that. I know how I would tackle that. That would be interesting. And then there's another one on the 10th, which is Friday. Yep, Friday. We'll see. We'll see what we do then tomorrow, since we have 2 after shows. Anything final thoughts? Do.
No final thoughts from me. Hopefully, see everyone Thursday, and maybe at some after shows as well. So, Max.
Oh yeah.
Props to you on doing these discussions. I think they're interesting. I'm gonna have to go. Double speed it and check it out. So.
My God. Yes. Dr. J listens to everything at double speed, and it's so weird. Like, how do you deal with that? It's. Remember, we were driving to Punta del Este, and he was in charge of the music because he was the of the audio because he was the co-pilot. And but he listens to stuff by default on 2 times speed. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the podcast called The Science of Everything?
I'm sorry?
I don't think so.
The host is James Fodor. He was a moderator in one of Professor Dave's debates. He's this Australian guy, and you listen to the podcast, you would think that he is playing on 2 times speed, but he just talks fast.
Oh yeah. If you get someone that talks fast enough, it could be a little bit of an issue. But like I've decided when they make books, for example, or podcasts, a lot of times I think they will purposely make sure they don't go too fast and stuff. You know what I mean? It does not seem like they're ever like allowing themselves to be too quick. They're like being nice to people as far as the speed that they choose.
Mm-hmm. Who done it says, I listen to most debates. I'm not watching live at 1.5. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm used to like actually identifying the speed of a track, like the speed that a song was made and the speed that a DJ is playing it. And there are some like it just my brain tells me this is too fast all the time. It's kind of annoying. I wish I could because I could absorb way more information in less time, but I know it sounds weird to me. Whodunit says, I also DJ. I didn't know that. That's pretty cool. I also have, some a little bit of mania. You've seen me like flip out when people have background noise. That is so triggering. Like, it's like I get triggered by random sounds, but then also random silence. Like dead air is also a big trigger. It's just the way we're wired, I guess. Douglas Jenkins is also a DJ. Now everyone's a DJ. Let's go.
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a DJ, Max.
Except
I'm a DJ. You're a DJ. He's a
Except
DJ.
New
We're all
Moon.
DJs.
Except New Moon, the flat earther. That guy is not a DJ. And I'm also trying to find out if DJ Curious, no one knows if he's even a DJ, bro. So I don't know what to do with that. Oh, DJ Mayanillos. Damn you, Douglas. No. He got me so hard. All right. Final thought to you, Bruce.
It's not really anything I can think of.
All right, no problem. People, with that, thank you so much for everything. Thank you. Special thanks to Rico. And we'll catch you when we catch you. I have no idea. Probably Wednesday, maybe tomorrow. Who knows? We'll see. Take care, everyone. Love you. Bye. Have a good day.
Bye.
See you.